Hello, and welcome to my Therapist Plays Disco Elysium analysis series. On today's episode, we are meeting what has become another one of my absolute favorite characters that we've met so far. So, we're going to be talking a lot with Annette and her mother today, learning more about the economic reality of being a child who has to work out in the cold all day. And in that dialogue, we're also going to be continuing to build our own character profile, sort of continuing the analysis using the Johari window that we started in the last episode. There's a lot of emotions to dig into and discuss in today's episode, including some that may come up when we finally face ourselves. So that's where we're at. I'm excited to continue, so let's jump back in. Okay. What shall we do next? I guess we can go enter the the door behind the greenhouse. Let's go do that. It's in the yard, basement door. Is that back there? Yeah, it's more useful in counseling. What's this? What is this girl up to? It's been a while since we've checked in.
It's like a little gift from the sky.
She is way too positive. Oh, it's snowing. What is this crime
fiction
business?
is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
I need to know what crime is. It's that bad. Point to your head.
Crime is what we were solving before this conversation began.
Why would anyone want to read about crime?
It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine dangerous things, and it's kind of like a puzzle, where you can guess who the criminal is, or how the good guys are going to catch him.
I'm a policeman myself, by the way.
You don't look much like a policeman.
I know. Well, what does a cop look like then?
Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
She points to a book cover on which you can see strapping Vespertine officer. He stands grimly over the body of a dead woman. You know, nobody actually looks like the guy in the picture. It's not your body that's important in police work. It's your head. I'll never be as good as him. That's probably pretty accurate, yeah.
Don't say that. He's not even real. You're real.
Am I? Okay, that's getting heavily existential, Annette. That's what I'm gonna put that on the board. I'm gonna fucking put that on the board. That's my blind spot. We're we're real. Someone else sees this that we don't yet, right? And this is part of identity. It does, right? What does this statement, like, what does it mean for a statement like that to suddenly become real to you as well? Like when you, because like my character is like, well, I'll never be that good, you know. I'll never be the ideal policeman, and she's like, well, that doesn't matter. You're fine as you are. Like, don't try to live up to that. I think what's behind we're real is really like not everyone hates us. That is very often in our blind spot. Hell, it's often in my blind spot, right? Like, we tend to develop ideas that, like, people hate us and that everyone sees how fucked up our life is just like we do, but they don't, right? Like, part of my shame makes it impossible for me to see this sometimes from the character's point of view. So like to learn about that again makes me feel like I have to let this drive less of this, trying to use authority to get people to listen to me. And that fits with what I just said, right? Because like what we're saying is, oh, I'll never be as good as him, meaning like people will never respect me like they do this cop. Like I'm not a good cop. It all comes back down to like, is this true for me? Maybe Annette just fucking gave us some little bit of therapy. Made us a little more comfortable with our identity. Yeah. And maybe moved good cop a little bit up into the blind spot, like something someone else sees that, you know, we're not understanding. So maybe we're going to see a little bit of that motion. Right? That's right, a real failure. Well, it would be pretty. Oh, that's right. Seashell, you're right. Lena and Annette. I forgot that the other character's name was Annette. That's right, a real failure. Yeah. That's how we feel.
Cheer up, sir. No need to compare yourself to a fictional character.
It's too real. It's too fucking real.
Maybe you can show me some real deductive police work, sir. Like in the books.
Okay. I want to do that. Let's see. What is romance?
It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man.
She imagines herself in that situation.
Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir.
What about a book where the man and lady business doesn't work out? That feels pretty. That's on our mind right now.
I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum.
You think she has one about an excruciatingly painful breakup?
I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though.
It can be. Think about it. One where they plunge into a torrid spiral of pain and recrimination. Recrimination. Only it's really long and drawn out. Scarred for life, phantom limb.
No, I don't know.
She's giving me Fritta girl vibes with the, I don't know.
You can take this. Blossom like a pain flower.
And it drags on for years and years with no resolution in sight.
The
Holy
girl
shit.
is at a loss for words.
Each of you filling with resentment and bitterness, having ruined each other's lives. This poor girl.
She shifts and sways on her feet, looking confused and uncomfortable.
Somehow this young girl has been totally, like, insulated from whatever fucked up things have influenced all the other kids in this world. And I'm very curious about why.
Stop. There's no need for this. It's in your power to change the subject.
So I find what volition does to us very interesting. So far, volition, it's almost like the different voices have different tactics for how to work on these problems, right? Like volition wants us to not move anything out of this box. It wants us to not enter this space because it is too painful, right? There's so many scary things in the unknown right now that it maybe doesn't feel like we're ready to face or doesn't think are worthwhile to face. It's in our best interest. It doesn't want us to be heard, of course. But I don't think that that's I don't think that's the goal. We actually do want to move things that way. And that isn't really the appropriate person. Hey, Seashell, that's never stopped me before. On second thought, this seems like an inappropriate topic to discuss with children. It's going to hurt me if I don't stop, isn't it? I think we've gone far enough with this one. This is a little too intense.
Mm-hmm.
Poor girl. What about when everyone is poor?
That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life.
God damn. Okay, so she is aware of reality as well. The economic reality, as Fritta Girl would say. I bet she's had her own little chapter of wandering into Fritta and getting a bit of a lowdown on the economic reality from Best Girl. Sometimes you gotta write about real life things.
Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end.
What about when both of the men are bad?
These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that.
True. What if it's written really well,
Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting.
What about a poor man getting a rich
It
lady?
happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something.
I see.
Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end.
Just like I'm sure this story will. That's enough romance.
Maybe some about other books?
Yes, let's ask about famous people.
Kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them.
Discovered you through your disco playthrough and just want to let you know your video on Volition helped me not spiral into my destructive habits after I slept in past an appointment. Hey, I appreciate that. I am always enthusiastically surprised when people actually see those patterns in their real life and do something about it. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Can I be famous?
I don't know about that, but I imagine life is great when you're famous.
They're all dogs.
They sound like dorks. Fame sounds delicious. Maybe someday someone will write a book about me one day. Well, we're not too happy about ourselves right now. Let's. This is called a sour grapes coping skill, or not a coping skill. Defense mechanism, eco defense mechanism. It comes from the Aesop fable, I think it is, where the fox is in the forest and he sees some grapes that he wants, but there's a thorn bush between him and the grapes, and he can't get them, and so he convinces himself that I didn't want those grapes anyways. Sort of like, the famous people suck anyways, why would I want to be them?
Annette's expression remains ever so helpful, but she doesn't say anything.
Never mind, I literally had nothing else to say.
Okay.
Okay, let's do some detective work for Annette. Okay, guys, throw me some of your best lucky tomatoes, okay? Look, we have not done very many good things in this playthrough yet. We're trying. We're becoming a sorry cop. We're making up for our past. We're trying to solve the murder, and we're making up with Kuno. We're going to find Lena's husband. We're going to do it all, okay? We're going to do all the good things. One of the most important things we can do right now, though, is, like, make Annette smile. She's had a long day standing out here in the cold, thinking about the economic reality that she's in. And transporting herself to fictional worlds where the outcome is always good because that's the only way to escape from real life where the outcome is always bad. All right. She loves cops. She loves crime. She loves the mythological archetype of human experience that it represents: detection, uncovering secrets, finding resolution, making the world right again, providing structure where there is chaos. Okay, she's a philosopher. She's a queen. All we have to do is make her smile. All we have to do is validate that her time spent enjoying the fictional reality means that the emotions she has in reality are just as real as those ones in those books. Let's do it. Let's roll the dice. Let's roll the fucking dice, baby!
You failed to deduce anything substantial.
Fuck. God damn it. I'm sorry, Annette. I'm sorry. I'm a sorry cop. I'm so sorry. I'm such a broken man. I can't even use my detective work to like brighten up this poor girl's life for a moment.
She waits intently.
I can't deduce anything. No, I can't. Look, Annette's whole structure for viewing the world is that there's good cops out there. Maybe that's it. Maybe her entire like thing is that the reason she's not so depressed is because she sees people like fucking what's his name, Mullen, and she sees me and Kim walking around, and she's like, oh well, I know the world sucks, but like I'm safe because they're here and they must be good cops and they must be doing good things. And here I am standing in front of her, and I can't even tell her that she's. I can't tell her anything interesting. I can deduce that you are very small. No, that's not a good one. I can't deduce anything.
It's okay, sir.
No, it's not. A small disappointment rolls over her, but she promptly gets over it. It is a massive disappointment for me.
You disappointed a small child. Well done, champ.
No! Why is this world so cruel to me? Do I have any skill points to waste on this? What is it? Composure? It's composure? Do I have any clothes that I can wear? I have 2. Is it is it worth using a skill point? Yeah, I mean it is, right? It has to be. I cannot let Annette down like this. Okay. %. We've got this. All right. Lucky tomatoes in the chat. Roll the dice. Okay, we are so close to shattering this poor girl's worldview. Okay? We have to be the cop that she is dreaming of, the one that provides structure to the world, who doesn't just apologize, but can solve the case of like what's going wrong in her little world. Hey, Kim, back me up! Do I have to... Oh.
Hello again, sir.
Okay. Do I have any clothes that give me composure? Conceptualization? No. Interfacing? Useless. It's all a bunch of useless
Hello again,
garbage.
sir.
Okay, 72% chance. This is an easy one, right? I shouldn't say that. I should never say that. It's always a predictor that it's going to fail. Any clues lowering my composure? That is a good question. Got +1 to composure from the green snakeskin shoes. Annette's going to find that very impressive. Reaction speed is okay. Okay, nothing is interrupting us here. The faster I click it, the
Hello,
faster it
sir.
goes. Okay.
The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
Yes. Yeah. This is healing. This is healing time. Why do you keep your
What
hands
do you
folded?
mean, sir?
She knows where this is going.
You don't need to be worried. I'm here to help. Oh. What's I think our character genuinely believes that. I think maybe for one of the first times we can categorically say that this is like our true real intention for someone. Because all of the other things, solving the murder, we still don't know exactly why we're doing that. Are we doing it to impress Kim? Are we doing it to make up for something? Are we doing it because we think it's right? Do we even have a grounding on what's right or wrong? The thing with Kuno, we're just so ashamed of what we tried to do that we're trying to reconcile it. There's so much confusion behind every decision that we've made, and this is one of the first times that I feel like we genuinely believe this. This is real healing. You don't need to be worried. I'm here to help.
She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. She doesn't want to show them. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest.
Kim, you are not interested in any of the things that are directly impacting my healing.
A facade of true professionalism. He is far more intrigued by the situation than his poise reveals.
There goes my failure to detect Kim's stone cold facade. You heard me, hands up. No, it's okay.
She brings out her reddened hands, her nails frayed, nearly chewed down to the flesh.
Oh my god. You bite your nails.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded?
Yes.
Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She actually is impressed. This is more like a defensive reflex.
Want more, but I can figure out why you bite your nails.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
Rats have been nibbling on your fingers. Child labor is dismal in dismal working conditions. You're uptight because of your mother and the pressure she's putting on you. That seems kind of realistic. Recycling your body material? I don't think so. There's no riches without personal sacrifice. This is probably the most realistic one, I guess.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't.
Either way, another ace deduction by the number 1 detective in town. I mean, she's entertained by this, right?
It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
Whatever, kid. I don't need to prove myself to you. No, that's not us right now. You think so? Fine, do better. To do something about me. We're playing around here.
You're quite sober.
What? That's a very strong observation. like you don't just say that to people, right? Like imagine you are meeting your friend in the park or whatever, and you walk up to them and they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And you're like, "Oh, you're quite sober." You wouldn't just say that with no context. So she can deduce that sobriety is a limited state for us. Yeah, there's some implications there. She's probably interacted with us before. Yeah, it is a power move. I wonder what authority is going to say about that.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching. It takes effort.
How do you know I'm usually not?
Because you usually aren't.
How would you know? I'm also sad and my head hurts.
I'm sorry, sir. I hope things get better soon.
A gleam of sympathy on her face.
There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She smiles at you. The whole situation suddenly feels familiar, somehow.
So, we have definitely interacted with her before. So... one of the things that I find interesting about this is who is actually moving these things for us, right? Because when our identity was revealed to us in a situation where there was manipulation, for example, with Everard Clare, there was confusion and anxiety and probably more of this and more of this, right? When our identity is revealed to us by someone who is trustworthy or who we do not feel is manipulative of us, like, for example, maybe someone who is allowing us to feel more like a good cop, like Annette or Lena, suddenly the disclosure of our past identity does not bring up so much of these things, right? And I no longer feel the need to like be protective of myself by being like an authoritative person. So this is also showing us what kinds of things that we respond to, right? The kinds of people who are in possession of what we don't know about ourselves. What are you missing here? Why does this feel familiar? Oh, please let me succeed.
You have absolutely no idea. Familiar? How?
Come on!
You must have forgotten something you heard again.
72%! My luck is so all over the fucking place. It's easy to forget the ledger. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the ledger at some point. This was on suggestion. Yeah, we didn't do any lucky tomatoes. That's true. Do I have something that's impacting my suggestion? No. I have something that could make it worse. Oh, and something that could make it better. Let's see if that does anything.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Ah, shit. This is essential. I need to learn this. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We have to know.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here
I am
for
the
more
ace
books?
detective. 92%. No tomatoes required.
Because you know each other.
Yes.
She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
I knew it. I knew it. You know me. We've met before.
Yes, I stand in this spot all the time. You've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir, apologizing to everyone. I don't really understand what you've done wrong.
That checks out. Did I ever talk to you?
Of course, you've stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you.
What do you mean better? I look like shit.
Yeah, but you don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
I'm not surprised children have seen you running around with party eyes on, he thinks. Not at all.
Party
You know,
eyes.
like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed. It certainly looks odd on a man.
The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict. That is what she meant. You were probably gurning too. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy.
Does that mean I've been partaking in narcotics?
Oh, baby. That's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing.
So why didn't you tell me you knew me to begin with? What are you protecting about me?
I didn't know I had to do that.
Thanks, I've learned something about myself today.
I'm glad I could help you, sir.
So what have we just seen happen, right? Something else in our blind spot is... There's two things that I just learned here. Actually, a couple of things. One of the things that we did not know is how bad we were. Right? We did not exactly know. Like, we knew that we were destructive and chaotic and that we had things to apologize for, but the more we learn about this, the more we start to understand how bad it actually was, right? The fact that a child like Annette, someone with a very unique worldview in the place that she's in, was able to see this and deliver it to us. Again, it very much matters who the person delivering this information to us is, right? At the same time, we're learning how bad we were. It did not seem to change Annette's perception of us, right? She's the one who told us we're real. And this discovery that, like, not everyone hates us, even though we were really bad. Because down here was, like, this was one of the ideas, is that, like, we are a complete failure. That is one of the central ideas behind that dream sequence, right? We're a complete failure. Billions of people in the world, you failed every single one of them, right? What's fascinating to me is that this is something that we suddenly intuitively know about ourselves through the dream sequence, through the way we just feel, right? This is one of those core beliefs that I was talking about, that we just feel. We don't always necessarily have a reason to, like, where it came from. Sometimes it's maladaptive. But what just happened? Somehow someone told us that this is how bad we were, and it still didn't change their perspective of us. Like, it's not like the second Annette saw us, she went running. She was not terrified of our real identity, nor did she think we were a worse cop just because we couldn't remember. And so something very important happening, again, this is why, like, I tend to use this in therapy, is this idea might have just moved this way, right? And the question may become something like this, right? Are we actually a complete failure? And can we, through some process of self-discovery and healing, find a way to see ourselves not as a failure at all, right? I think that one of the big things for people struggling with failure is that we tend to go to the extreme. Failure is the experience of losing something so completely that it feels total, right? But something our character may be discovering is that failure is kind of like a gradient, right? It is not necessarily something that has only two ways of feeling about it, right? Like failure in this context can very much be a gradient between like complete failure and failing in some things. And so actually this is a good motion for something that we feel like we intuitively knew about ourselves to suddenly become in question. What does that tell you? It tells you that some of your core beliefs may not be as fixed as you might believe, right? If this one may not be totally true, maybe some of the others aren't. Maybe some of my other core beliefs that I am incompatible in a relationship, that I am a bad person, that I am untrustworthy, manipulatable, unable to solve this case, right? Like when there is a foundational belief like this that suddenly comes in question, many of your other foundational beliefs may be worth more investigation. And that's something that like we just earned through our little dialogue with Annette. Like the children of this game are the real therapists. Like she's unpeeled me. I've been unpeeled. Unzipped. My soft, gooey internals have been exposed in this winter hellscape. And it makes me feel warm and welcomed. Kuno, just wait till we get to Kuno. Children will just call out what they see, while adults have ulterior motives. Totally. You can stop calling me sir. I am but a working man.
No, sir, I can't. It would be too tiring to refrain from it. It's already tiring enough to remember to say it all the time. It's nice of you to say I could stop, though.
Okay, yeah, when the next person comes, you'd have to sir or ma'am them again. Sir it is then. Soldier on.
By your command.
I love you. You've saved... You've dislodged something in my brain that will become essential for my future healing journey. Thank you, little wanderer. You see a sturdy woman humming to herself. She seems to be browsing books. Hello. And she literally made me improve my composure and suggestion. That is true. That is very true. She's like literally healed us. And I also got some of my, what was it, morale back? Or something? And I didn't even need to down some magnesium. No ceremonies,
Hello?
just hello. Who are you?
Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much.
What are you doing?
Looking for something to read.
Good, good.
It is.
I'm a
I
policeman.
know you are.
Do you need the help of a policeman?
What with?
This citizen thinks she can do without your assistance. Don't buy it. They all need help.
Interesting comment from authority here. Let's just observe.
Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent a lot of time at work, smoking. An array of neurons fire up with joy. Bum her a cigarette, lest it turn to pain.
Yeah, maybe we can build some rapport. Do you smoke?
No, I don't.
What? I know for a fact that you smoke.
Why do you think that I smoke?
Your hands look like they belong to a heavy smoker.
It's not like yours look much better.
That's because I smoke. Take a look at your hands.
She's right. Your hands look even worse than hers, with tiny cuts and gushes covering your skin like a spider web. Your fingertips have become an ugly shade of brown.
Just give me a cigarette, please.
I already told you I don't have any. Go bother someone else.
She's lying. She's goddamn lying. She has smokes.
What should I do here? I feel like we're not at the point where we're like demanding them anymore, but we probably would ask. I mean, we already have a pack of cigarettes. Don't listen to Half-Light, yeah. I'm trying not to listen to it. I'm trying to think what my character would do, though. Well, right now, like, the priority is getting people not to hate us. So we're gonna move on.
She sighs.
Maybe your husband's missing?
My husband? No, he's not.
Why did we ask this? I don't know. So where could he
I
be?
don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his friends? Working?
Where is this going, officer?
So what I'm hearing is you don't really know where your husband is. But we'll just...
She gives you a short nod and shifts her attention back to books.
Maybe your children are missing.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so where
Are
are
you
they?
a policeman or a nanny?
Nanny. Where are
They're
they?
not missing, sir.
You know where they are. They're at home, smoking.
What?
Giving the ladder of vices a chance.
What?
What if something horrible has happened? What if they're dead? That's the bad vibe you got before.
Oh no. What if they're at home smoking cigarettes? It's such an odd way to confront someone. What if they're in the sewers? I mean, sure.
What? That's just... My daughters are perfectly fine. They're with their friends down in Shamrock. There's nothing to worry about. They're almost grown up now anyway. They're past the age they need me protecting them from everything now.
I'm afraid the danger is now greater than ever. Tell me how old are they? No, that's... why did they give you the option for this? Okay. I don't think... well, let's just ask about the cockatoo while
I
we're here.
don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here.
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get like this. It's better to indulge him at this point.
There's Kim having some fun. I was asking about your... Ma'am, I was asking about your cockatoo. Is it
I
missing?
don't even have a cockatoo. And guess what?
What?
Even if I had, it wouldn't be missing.
All right, cockatoo not missing. I just wanted to make sure.
Great.
Just one more question. What did you mean by me being a cockatoo?
Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested. There's a great book in the bookstore.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Actually, that's exactly what I'm going to do. We get a quest from this? No way.
Wonderful. The story's over.
I love this.
The
I love
woman
this game.
before you nods and returns to her reading.
I guess I can. I can go read up on birds now. Maybe I'll have something to talk about with Lena. Oh, this is Annette's mom. Oh no. Oh no. She's a clerk. Okay. I will try to restrain myself.
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance. Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
Take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space. Okay.
A golden pendant hangs around the woman's neck in the shape of what looks like a tiny fish head trapped in amber.
The curious pendant you're wearing.
Oh yes, helps to have an anchor in these times.
Gosh, I could just ask her for money. I mean, her business seems to be doing pretty well, and we do need money.
Sir, don't be ridiculous. I certainly will not give you money. I would be doing you a grave psychic disfavor.
Is that
One
right?
has to earn one's success. even if one is a police officer. Handouts are nothing but manipulation. All they do is make you dependent.
So, who are you talking to? Because like a handout to another adult, I can understand. But is like your daughter having like basic needs met a handout in your perspective?
What is this insolence? She misunderstood.
No, that's not
Of
me.
course, no one puts words in your mouth.
So are you the owner of this store?
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
She has fine-tuned her voice to find the most welcoming approach for attracting new customers. It doesn't work.
Your daughter is the one standing outside the store, right?
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl?
Oh, this is fucking... This stuff pisses me off so much. No, she was definitely... Wait. Yes, of course. I was thought that said no, she definitely was not slacking off. Wait. Was she at her post? Yes, of course.
Wonderful. Did you talk to her?
Yes.
Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her?
So is that all she is to you? She's a little saleswoman?
Her opinion of her daughter depends on how well she lured you into the store.
Oh my god, this fucking grates at me so much. She's the algorithm. 10. She's very polite and helpful.
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette.
Now, look, I'm not going to assume, I'm not going to jump into headcanon that she's a terrible parent by any means. But I just find this perspective very troubling. Is it in my place to start commenting on her parenting, though? Here's what I'm thinking, okay? At the end of the day, Plaisance is counting her money from the amount of books that she has sold. And the first question that she has for Annette is what, right? How many books did you sell? Or maybe she gives her feedback. We didn't sell so many books today. Why don't you think more people came into the store? Were you smiling at them like I told you? Were you very polite? Right? That's the kind of dialogue I'm like imagining happening. Here you have this poor young girl who has such a keen eye for the human condition that she was able to peel me open like a fucking banana. And yet I imagine there's not a lot of like, I don't know, like what does Annette want to do with her life? What is she interested in? Well, she's definitely interested in like reading books and talking about them. I don't think that she hates her job, but it does seem like she's nervous about like what happens when things aren't, when it's not a good day. What happens when, you know, no one comes into the store? Like, I'm not convinced that Plaisance is sitting there thinking like, oh, well, that's my fault. It's probably like, oh, well, it's, you know, Annette didn't do her job or something. This sounds pretty appropriate to say. Out in the damned cold as well. I guess she's a trooper, all right. She looks like she can take it, but it's actually wearing her down. You know she's been biting her nails.
God. I've told her not to do that. It's such a disgusting habit. She'll get over it. Anxiety is a part of life.
See, that's my fucking problem, okay? No. Anxiety is a part of life, but not like this. Okay? Like little like discussion on anxiety briefly. Like anxiety has a function, an emotional function. When someone comes in and says like I have anxiety, I'm not immediately like thinking that they have a generalized anxiety disorder. Anxiety is your body's alarm bell, like to tell you to pay attention to something, right? There is an amount of anxiety that's appropriate for you. If I was standing out in the cold all day and I was worried about losing my job, like I would experience anxiety. If I just went through a breakup, I would experience anxiety. None of these are classified as like a disorder. When it becomes a disorder is when you're feeling anxious when you shouldn't, right? When there is not a clear link between like a source of anxiety and you feeling it sort of temporarily, right? So like while she's standing out there working, sure, maybe she feels anxious. But if she's going up into her room and it's quiet and she's sitting alone in her bed at night and there is nothing that should be making her anxious and that's when she's biting her nails, now we have a problem, right? Now like this the anxiety is starting to infect parts of her life where it is not appropriate. It's extremely sad that her mom doesn't seem to recognize this. She'll get over it. Anxiety is a part of life. Yeah, well, what that tells me is that someone didn't teach you how to deal with anxiety, and you think that the way you are, like, that you're just calling stubbornness resilience. And you think that the only way to get through it is just to endure it, rather than actually, like, I don't know, providing her with, like, a better way to cope with it.
Part of hers, too, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think she can do anything about
She
it.
can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing pains. Life isn't easy. Life doesn't give breaks.
Okay, now I fucking hate her, okay? Yeah, no, this is bad mom territory. Willpower alone is not enough to change a negative behavioral pattern. Like, I've already broken that down with the whole competing mental states thing, that motivation is a very linear way to describe action potential, and it's very limited in, like, oh, well, have you tried not being sad, idiot? Like, that's how this sounds, the way she's talking about this.
Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You are placing an unnecessary burden on a young child.
What you're doing is wrong. Even I know that, and I usually don't know anything. Here is another amazing point in our character's narrative, right? Like, this time, it is again someone else that we're interacting with. Once more, I feel like this, right here, this line of dialogue. What you're doing is wrong. Even I know that, and I usually don't know anything, is compelling us to question, like, maybe we're not a complete failure as a person, right? My view of myself is suddenly less and less of a mystery, because, like, I'm able to tell that, like, even though I'm a fucking idiot and I make lots of bad decisions, even I can tell that this is not appropriate for a child. And if I can accept that, I can't be a complete failure, right? I love this. I'm loving this. And we are very unashamed as well about saying that as well. That's perfect.
She stands stiff and severe.
This is
fuming. 10 or so seconds pass without change.
This is the second boss fight of the game.
This is a person coming to terms with a new reality. one where they are wrong. It's not easy.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't, because that's what's happening to me all the time.
Oh no. Hold on. I need to invite her inside and apologize. She must be freezing out there.
Somehow this feels ingenuine.
There. I don't know what to say to you. My husband, he tries to teach me business lessons. I have what my mother called a dull mind. All this stress.
Wait a second. Did that actually work? Did that actually work? Annette healed us and we were able to heal her? And her mom?
It sounds like both the husband and the mother treat her the way she treats Annette.
What? You're like Annette to your husband and your mother. This is like a fucking Raphael. I know he's Harry. Harry's the cop. Raphael was the original fake persona. This is the therapist. This is the therapist coming out. Get him. You're like Annette to your husband and your mother.
Oh, well, my mother was horrible, of course. Absolutely perverse energies around that person. But my husband...
My husband is completely different, of course.
Oh, okay. We're peeling back here. This is a generational issue, of course. But good on her. You know, I said bad mom territory before, but anyone who's willing to, you know, make mistakes and own up to them, like, that's growth. That's character development right there. She's not a terrible mom. She's a troubled human. Is this husband Annette's father?
Yes, my husband is a successful entrepreneur east of the river. If only he were more involved in the business we're running up here. No matter. Soon we'll both be off for Grand Couronne.
Grand Couronne, what is that?
It's a proper place to live. One of the most peaceful neighbourhoods east of Jamrock. You may know it for its massive housing projects. Most of the buildings are empty at the moment. It's a great opportunity to get ahead of the crowds. Better times ahead for sure.
And your husband's also involved with the
He
bookstore?
made the initial investment. Since then, he's been what you might call a silent partner.
Wow. Okay, so here's the dynamic as well, right? Like, husband made the investment. She is left to uphold the household, essentially. But doing so alone probably provokes a lot of anxiety for her as well. She's probably internalized a lot of like the same kinds of critiques her mother gave her, which are falling down on Annette as well. Is she an only child? Where are her friends?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A real treat she is. It would be nice if she had... No, we couldn't have afforded more children, really. Not in this economy.
True. Very true. Also in real life. Plenty of my friends have kids, and I'm going to be honest, sounds miserable in this economy.
A glimmer of sadness blinks through the well-crafted exterior.
I came in hot on this one, but this poor clerk. It's always the clerk. Sad clerk. I want to help her now. Where's your husband? Where is he? Let me go talk to him. Tell him to come home and be here for his family. Of course, yes, this economy.
Exactly.
She told me she doesn't go to school anymore.
She's been too busy helping me here. So she studied at home this trimester. This is a temporary solution, of course.
And she doesn't get to go to school. This is heartbreaking. Okay, I would want to do a family session with all of them. It's so sad.
I assure you, I of all people understand the importance of education. She will be back in school the moment the store takes off.
And when is that going to happen? Okay, I had something else in
The
mind.
woman looks aloof, her features much softer. Occasionally, she glances at her daughter's silhouette.
You can tell that she probably really does know what she's doing to her daughter, but her daughter's a very good person and is very agreeable, and so doesn't like show very openly the toll it takes on her. I know this is all like super emotional and stuff, but where are the books on
A
cockatoos?
book about cockatoos? There should be one upstairs, right next to the shelf of biographies.
What do if I want to buy
Then
a
why
book?
are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy anything? See those shelves there? Go. Be drawn.
What kind of books do you
Everything is
have?
on the shelves. Take a look yourself. The shelves compel you, don't they?
She's
They do.
attempting to mentally direct you towards the shelves. She only wants you to buy the goods. She doesn't care about the books.
Do you even know what books you have for sale?
Truth be told, not really. My sister brings in most of the goods. I'm sure it's all very literary stuff with well-written prose. But you don't learn about the important things in life from fabricated stories.
Wrong. That's wrong. I have learned lots of important things about life from this fabricated story. Like, I've undergone more personal change in the 10 or so episodes of this series that I have made in the last couple of weeks than I have gotten from just real life things happening to me. Like, most of my recent character development in real life is a direct result of playing this video game, less something that really happened to me, which is probably characteristic of lots of my life, to be honest. Where do you learn about important things
The
then?
truth is available if you just know where to look. And
Oh,
you have to
okay. You
open
just have to
and
know where to
free your
look.
mind to understand.
Okay, I sympathize with you, lady, but I find your personality also very grating. Okay, I'll take a look then.
She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved.
Farewell for now, book peddler. Okay, let's get Annette's opinion on this.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't talk right now. I'm very busy with my homework. I have so much homework now.
You just can't win.
No, poor Annette. What are you doing now?
Math. It's really difficult. Like, really. They say you need it to get rich. Better than standing outside in the cold, I guess. Oh, I found something while you were away. I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does.
She gives you a hat almost exactly like one Dick Mullen wears on the covers. Oh my gosh. Where did you get
Just
it?
what Dick Mullen would ask. I got it from behind the curtains. I'm not really supposed to go there.
It's a fedora?
Maybe. It's the hat Dick Mullen wears all the time. You'll look way more serious with that.
Oh.
Right, I have to get back to my homework now. Before Mum notices. Man, this is hard.
Can I stop doing the murder thing and just spend time with her and Fritta Girl and Kuno? Oh my god, it really is cool. If anything, this wide-rimmed hat looks even better than the hat Dick Mullen wears. Dick Mullen is stupid and not even real. You're real. Your brain is real. Your real brain is inside the hat. And it's good for my encyclopedia. It's, ooh, that... My bum hat was pretty good for my reaction speed, though. I'm gonna trade it out. Oh, fuck yeah. We'll put our duster back on as well. Now we look fucking cool. Helping kids, how would that prevent crime? Well, it would probably prevent future crime. So we've just gone on a crazy little adventure. I know that we haven't really done anything in the game, but psychologically, a lot of things have happened. Like, what does this mean, right? What does this mean for our character to be recognized like this? That someone can actually idolize us even, right? I think that there's a part of us that's starting to understand a little more clearly, like, what people think about us. This was a very eye-opening experience to see what Kim's reaction and the mother's reaction and Annette's reaction to us was. I think what we learned is that we actually do have some convictions, right? We actually do have some firmly held beliefs that dictate some of our behavior. And we can notice that there is a link between, like, it doesn't matter that we lack intelligence. Our convictions are still the same. Hey, good night, Seashell. Thanks for stopping by. We've learned that we have some convictions, right? That we care about microeconomics and the sad state of all clerk shop owners. And there is a direct link, I think, between, like, clarifying what our convictions are. This is another protective factor against shame, right? The more convictions we invest in, the more we explore things like, I do care about the emotional well-being of children. I do care about, like, them being able to have the opportunity to go to school, to learn, to have their family around, right? Like, these are things I do not need to feel any sort of shame in. And the more I expressed those convictions, the more I was respected. So I would say that, like, respect. We were unsure about whether we were respected by other people, and there is a link between conviction and respect. The more we live a moral life, the more we show people that we don't abuse our power, that we don't need to use authority. Like, we didn't need to yell at the mother. We just needed to, like, empathize with her a little bit. Not only did she open up to us, which makes us feel good about the kind of, like, police work we can do, but it also earned some respect from her and Kim and ourselves. Our view of ourselves is changing more and more, right? I think that this is trading places in some ways. It's getting interesting. There's a lot going on here, right? Like, and I did this once before. I don't think I'm gonna do it now. But there was a time where I had it in mind to actually do 2 of these. Like, because Harry's life is also a mystery to himself. Like, his past life is an unknown, right? So we could technically, like, go a layer deeper and say, like, well, the more we learn about him, what are the aspects of his life that are starting to come into his awareness here, right? Like, for example, the breakdown of his relationship, which he may have, like, been in his blind spot, right, is now becoming something he knows privately in his current life, right? And what is the intersection of, like, that? So maybe we return to this at some point, and maybe we do another Jahari window later in the game. Is Harry saying those things because he knows that's what people say to be respected, or because he actually believes in those things? I think at this point it's an actual belief. Okay, let's check out those cockatoo books. Ooh, what's behind this curtain?
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
I'm doing police work. Shopkeeper, what's behind the curtains?
Nothing. Why aren't you browsing the books? Don't you feel compelled to look at the books?
Something shady's going
Oddly
on.
enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become.
Examine.
You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you.
That is curious.
Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you.
Maybe we can sneak them open. I don't just want to, like, thrust them open. We've just earned her trust. Let's check out that book. So they put a cockatoo mission in here just for kicks. Turning into the middle of the streams and seeing the diagrams and little red strings connecting everything is wild, yeah. That's, like I said, longtime viewers, this is a pretty tame Johari window, actually, compared to, like, some of the other ones that I've done. But we're working with very little right now, which is that we still don't know a lot about Harry. Whereas, like, some of the other Johari windows I've done into, like, 10 episodes of a show.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over.
Shopkeeper, what's all this crime
Oh,
fiction?
crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They really do teach a person how to be a proper detective.
Maybe I should actually do that. Let's look through
Crime
them.
fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends.
I don't know. It's been pretty exciting.
Furthermore, they have no idea how hard it is to simply remove a body from a tree.
Let's be real. That part was super fucking easy because I just shot the motherfucker down first try.
What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf?
Where is this coming from? This is odd to me. This doesn't have a voice. Whose opinion is this? Out of all of the dialogue options in the game, this is like just very blunt. It's interesting. I mean, this just seems like commentary, like more so than anything my character would intuit.
You see, Dick Mullen on the job. Get me Mullen. The stalwart adventures of Richard P. Mullen. Dick Mullen and the murder in the orchard. The sordid affair of Dick Mullen.
It's an objective
A
opinion.
killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder house. The final case of Dick Mullen. An obvious lie. Dick Mullen in the clock tower. The ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick.
Dauntless
Dick Mullen's funeral pyre. The murder of Dick Mullen.
He probably doesn't
Oh,
die,
no. Turns out he faked it to solve a case.
of course.
Yes, there's also the dame who did it. Farewell, my Mullen. Faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series. The morbid tales of Dick Mullen. A dark tide turns. Tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And, of course, Dick Mullen, the murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer.
That's got to be some kind of foreshadowing here, right?
Come on. This is not the way real police solve crimes. The real police are some 20 kilometers away, sitting in an armored motor carriage.
Come on, Chester. Tell the story again.
What?
Again? Man, I tell that one at least once a month. It's not that interesting.
The fuck it
Where
is.
is this coming from?
And these guys haven't heard it. You see, Chester here.
Gosh, why?
One civilian looks on amazed. The bald man
A
bellows a
very
reply.
fucking dangerous case, ain't that right, Chester? They almost got you that time.
Yeah, sure came close. Alright, so I was tailing this guy called Francis the Shoe.
The inside of the motor carriage is thick with cigarette smoke. Outside it starts to rain.
After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen?
Who is he? React.
Your attempt to grasp
Shit.
at the answer fails. It seems very close by, pulsating just out of reach.
Whatever. We don't need to be doing all this book reading anyways. Oh yeah, that's true. One of the cops called me Dick Mullen and to make fun of me. Loving the series on YouTube, so happy to catch it live. I'm happy you're here. Thank you.
The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People. You see,
No, I don't give a fuck about that. I want the Cockatoo book.
this bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Let's look.
Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. The point
Okay.
of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services.
How does
It
that
serves
work?
platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to and which costs more than this book, is garbage and would only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything. Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything. Though it is important to note, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place.
When it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place. No. 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 No.
It's your own fault if you're ill. Got it?
It doesn't make
The
any
book
sense.
features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium.
Magnesium,
Even
I need a
plants
lot
you
of
can
that.
harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. And there's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder, preservatives, to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing worth buying. This is just mundane garbage.
That's
What's even
exactly what I was
paranatural
thinking.
about this?
Fucking 97% chance. Find something truly otherworldly.
The throbbing in your head increases
Yes.
with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pale.
What's the
The
pale?
book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted.
What's this book about?
The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the pale, also known as le territoire. For
Okay.
example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pale. Even better if you can find someone else, preferably a large man dressed in nothing but a towel, to thrash you while you're spread naked and helpless on a cool slab.
That sounds painful.
It is supposedly invigorating and good for the circulation.
Okay.
It
What else?
also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pale. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pail and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired.
Okay. What does this pale aged liquor do?
Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health.
What? That's got to be impossible. I should probably get my hands on some of that. What else is
For
in there?
general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pail. Though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions. This is exactly what you need.
So this reminds me of going to like, I went to this museum in my town, a little Dutch town in the Netherlands. They had this museum of medicine, and it was like all kinds of old practices in medicine and shit like that, dating back like, you know, centuries ago. Fucking weird stuff, like reading some of the books and seeing the diagrams and seeing the instruments and all of the weird shit that we used to think about how the body works was so fascinating and horrifying. Really weird. This is what that reminds me of.
I don't know. I don't want to be the party pooper, but this pale territory sounds sort of dangerous. Maybe you shouldn't walk in it naked.
Anything else of
There's an
note?
entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
I certainly don't need that.
You close the book and return it to its place on the shelf.
I guess we could buy the book. I don't see why not. We'll find another way to make money.
Indeed. Something about that book does seem to have spoken to you. Well, I hope it contains what you're looking for.
Where's that fucking cockatoo book?
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez.
Oh yeah, I do need to pay for my room. We'll figure it out. We'll find another way to get money. Oh shit! Wait, this is where I could buy maps, isn't it? Can I buy
I'm
these
sorry,
maps?
Officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
Very cheap.
That old thing. It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps.
Oh, there's fast travel? That's extremely useful. Okay.
They didn't get that far.
I want to buy the map. Oh,
A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business.
I could I could just try to take the map, but I don't. Let's just buy the map. This is for Annette. I don't want to defame the work that she has done.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. La Delta says a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction.
Fast travel is broken. Okay.
To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs of Saint-Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity. They sound rich to you. This is Revachol East.
And west.
Prud'homme, it's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Forberg. It's almost as bad and much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst.
And
It's so
Martinez.
small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is. North of Jamrock. The strip of coast next to the Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour. It looks downright despondent. It's almost Coal City, to be honest. No, Coal City is worse. A charred limb. Rain falls on its slick black streets. And then there's the burnt-out quarter in the heart of Jamrock. Is it cold in this bookstore? Or is it just you?
God, Shivers has the best fucking... just the most unique voice out of all of the different skills.
No, this is somewhere to be. This is all you have. But it's still something. Streets and sodium lights, the sky, the world. You're still alive.
Fuck. Volition. It's getting real. Yeah, that's a great line. This is somewhere to be. This is all you have, but it's still something. Streets and sodium lights, the sky, the world, you're still alive. You know, another thing that this is touching on is this right here. This is becoming more and more centralized to our character's view of himself, right? I think that that was so well punctuated by that dream sequence. The line that sticks out to me is you failed everyone. It's not just like you failed yourself. You failed who you used to be. You failed the police precinct. You failed your relationship. You failed Kim. Like, no, this is like, it told us that we failed every single person alive and everyone who's ever lived as well. Like, that is such a deep level of uncertainty about your worth to the world, and that your life is even worth protecting. Everything we have done today, despite not really progressing the narrative of the game very much, has told me a very distinct psychological narrative about what Harry is experiencing, what is so central about this fear of failing everyone, about how much shame and regret has been driving our negative behaviors up until this point. We're starting to make better decisions, and I think it's because we're seeing evidence that this is not something that is known to ourselves anymore. We're not sure. We are not sure if this is known to ourselves anymore. We are starting to question if it is true, right? We are moving it to the unknown. And in doing so, we start to wonder if we should feel the level of shame that we do, right? We're starting to wonder, we're starting to get more comfortable with the convictions that we have. We're starting to feel less worried that people see us as fragile, which is something to be exploited and manipulated, and more so that we're struggling, meaning that we're someone to be empathized with and actually helped. We are only aware of those opportunities because we do not feel that we are this anymore, or we're starting to. I think that if we feel we are so unworthy that we have failed every single living person, we don't feel like we deserve anyone's empathy, and we don't feel like our convictions matter. When we start to displace that, we're starting to, this is the healing taking place. All of these things start to move now in our view of ourself and this completion of failure. I think this motion right here is the most important one. That failure is becoming an unknown and our view of ourself is starting to develop. It's not known to other people quite yet, but it's starting to grow a little bit. You're starting to find hope after experiencing so much failure and loss. Exactly. We're finding hope that there is a child in this world like Annette who seems to have kept some of her humanity locked away behind the hardships that she's gone through. We're finding that even someone like Fritta Girl, who seemingly has no prospects, if put into a different environment, would probably excel, right? We're finding that even Annette's mother, right, given a little guidance, was able to see that she was putting the priority of the business over her own daughter and her health and safety. Like, there is a little bit of hope coming through. And I also think that there was hope coming through when we spoke with Kim at the end of the last day, which is, we talked about, why are we doing this? Like, why are we solving the crime? Remember how I said it's not always clear what our own intentions are? Like, our intentions are often unknown. Why are we working on this case? Is it to impress someone? Is it to make up for something that we did wrong? Is it because we feel like it will fill in the missing pieces? Like, is it selfish? We're not sure. We are starting to develop awareness that some things we do not because they're for anyone, but because we believe in them, right? And that's kind of the dialogue that we had with Kim, which was like, we're doing this because we believe in something. We believe it's the right thing to do. We believe that by like putting some order to the chaos of this environment, potentially like all of these people who are broken down, Fritta Girl, the guy in the pawn shop, Annette's mother, even people like Joyce and Evrart, there is this little bit of them that feels like, given different circumstances, they would do different things with the skills that they have. You know, potentially someone like Evrart wouldn't use his tactics for manipulation, but as like strong leadership for people. Yeah, I think that there's a little bit of like, we're seeing hope bleed through the cracks a little bit in this environment. And I think that this whole chapter of our adventure and starting to actually like see the patterns of change here, now that I feel confident this is being worked on, maybe we are not a complete failure. Maybe there are some convictions that we genuinely have. Maybe everyone doesn't think that we're a fucking loser. And, you know, maybe there are some good qualities, maybe potentially more qualities that are good than bad. Now I do actually feel ready to go look in the mirror. Now I do feel like there is enough psychological work taking place that, like, seeing some hope in the world and seeing ourselves actually able to make positive changes with Annette and Annette's mom and like other people that we're helping means that like there's some protection here. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Fuck you. Fuck all of you guys. Okay, I'm gonna lock y'all up. Lena, you have been instrumental in my healing process. Gart, you know what? You as well. I'm ready. I'm ready. And Kim, I think more than anyone else, I have felt has shown me what I was looking for, which is moments of guidance and support and loyalty that don't feel consequential, like that he's doing them because he expects something from me. I feel like he's shown me that some of it comes from genuine care for us. So I think it's time, especially now that we've got a cool hat on that we got from Annette. Like, that genuinely boosts our character's confidence a lot in my headcanon.
A mirror hangs on the wall, covered in steam. You cannot see yourself, just the outlines of a man. You have no memory of the face that awaits you there, underneath the soft vapor.
Really? Nothing?
Really? Or recollection of the person you are, the people in your life, and even the world you're in has drowned in a sea of blood alcohol. This was no mere night of drinking. It was a deluge of world-ending proportions.
Wipe the
As
mirror.
you slowly reach your hand towards the surface of the mirror. Abort. You clearly have not thought this through. You won't like what you see there, and you will never unbecome it.
That's okay. Part of me understands that I won't like what I see, and not being okay with that means I'm afraid that this is what I will find to be true. But something has told me that this is no longer true, right? I'm not a complete failure. And so I'm okay with discovering that there's parts of myself that I don't like and starting to sort of make peace with them, especially how I look to other people. Because everything I've shown to people around me has been disgusting. It's been confrontational. It's been vulgar. It's been desperate. It's been embarrassing. And despite all of that, Kim has stuck around me. People like Annette still see good in me. They still give me things. People have still asked me for help. People still want me around. And so there simply cannot be something so affronting about my appearance if all of those things are true. So now we have to look.
Behold. You have no idea who this thing is, do you?
This is the face of a late-stage alcoholic.
Too late. You clearly have rigor mortis on your face. Or wait, is that an expression? Are you trying to make an expression with that face? Why?
I have no idea why it's there. It just is.
Please stop. It's horrible. You're scaring yourself.
Okay.
Oh my God. You can't stop. It's like it's not even voluntary anymore. You have worn that grin into your face and now it won't come off. What does it even mean? What is the emotion you're trying to convey?
It's insinuating that I'm vaguely sympathetic. I think I'm sort of pulling it off too, in a sad has-been kind of way. There is some charm to it. I think it's more appropriate to say that it is an expression of pain, right? When I like cover this part of it up, like the smile, it looks painful to me. It tells a very different story when you only see this side of it.
You are correct.
Well, there's a lot of things we can't do here yet. Guess we'll let the mirror be for now. I guess we can try the tool, right? What did we have? Chain cutters? Is that what we needed to use, or?
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Interfacing. I think there was a item that gave us more interfacing. Yeah, there's some gloves. Let's see if it
A
works.
mirror hangs on the bathroom wall.
28%.
In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Okay, guys. Lucky tomatoes in the chat for Harry facing himself. We need some we need some seriously lucky tomatoes here. Okay, 28%. I just don't know if it's doable. Okay. We've got lucky tomatoes going. Let's roll the dice.
The chain cutters slip out of your hands as you attempt to twist the faucet into place. Well, you know one thing for sure. You've probably never been a plumber.
We didn't make it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying these, right? They're white checks. I guess I can just try to use this.
It belongs in the new, the third decade of the current century.
What?
Enough time had passed from the failure of the revolution that, for a fleeting moment, free market economy seemed like the ultimate, uncontested way of life for our species.
So with the chain cutters and the fucking gloves, I couldn't bust the sink off, but what I could do was use my brain power to think my way through the problem with an 8% check. Holy shit. Encyclopedia 2, and I rolled 2 6s. That is the perfect roll. That is literally the best roll I could get. Fucking critical success. Well, I'm going to be honest that this doesn't really mean much to me. I didn't really understand it. It belongs in the new, the third decade of the current century. Enough time had passed from the failure of revolution that for a fleeting moment, free market economy seemed like the ultimate uncontested way of life for our species. Okay. That's my real reaction.
Things were good. It was smooth sailing. People made gold and champagne-tinted interiors and facades to suit the times, calling this the new style. But more importantly, disco happened.
Disco!
For Revachol, your city, that meant only one thing. Guillaume Le Million.
Okay.
Out of the dazzling swirl of disco music, in an open-air boîte de nuit, somewhere in Revachol West, Guillaume's blonde mane appeared on the screen. He sang some bullshit. Then he made the expression.
Oh. Okay. How long ago was the
There
new?
is a vast ocean of time between right now and the expression. Looking good on you, or anyone. 2 decades, if the calendar is to be trusted. Humanity has run aground in that time. It's a different world now. The expression is a relic.
So I adopted it. Why?
Everyone loved it. Maybe you thought some of the stardust would rub off on you. Maybe it did. Either way, it's all gone now. Only the grimace remains.
Anything else? Like, who am I? Why did I become a cop? Why did I drink myself into oblivion?
You have some understanding of the near history of disco, plus the trivia you've picked up along the way. Episodic memory, however, remains in the dark. It may never return. You should prepare yourself for that.
You have some understanding. Episodic memory remains in the dark. It may never return. So something will always potentially be incomplete about our view of ourself, right? Like there's gonna be a part of our memory that lives like somewhere in the unknown that is just we'll never get access to it, right? And can we develop a full picture of ourself without access to this? That's a good question. Personally, I do think so. I guess that's it then.
It doesn't have to be. You can swoon over Guillaume and his champagne-corked smile whenever you want to. Maybe some of the stardust will return.
Man, wait a second. I thought that was the 8%er. I failed that one. Yeah, I think it was even lower than that. Let's see if I can win this one. I don't know.
It's too late. Like an image on film. The expression belongs to your primary motor cortex. It would take a minor neurological miracle for you to cease producing it.
Gotcha. My chances went up for that one. Okay. Well, that is our expression now. We've got a new thought. We've almost internalized this one, so I'm curious to see where this ends up. Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. Does that say -1 to authority for rigorous self-critique? What have I been saying this whole time? Dude, I totally didn't even realize that. I have been saying this whole analysis that trying to use authority to protect people from like seeing how fragile we are because we're afraid of being manipulated for our desires was the result of shame and regret and all of these things. Like it's the reason we've been acting out through authority. When we have started doing the self-critique, maybe we're not a complete failure. What is our view of ourselves? What should we apologize for? What are our good convictions? What does it mean to be vulnerable and let people empathize with us? We no longer feel the shame and we stop trying to appeal to authority. So the fact that like the game also recognizes this, that being sorry lowers your points in authority, like that's some serious psychological synergy. God damn. I did not even realize that. They just knew what they were doing. The people who made this game had such a strong grasp on what seems like every angle of the human condition, psychological, political, social, and biochemical as well, right? And like the fact that there are game mechanics that demonstrate that, I mean, it's fucking incredible. It doesn't really explain why having a hobo hat gives me better reaction speed. But does it need to? Does it need to? Is the question. I knew something was missing here. I didn't have my my handy flashlight out to inspect everything. And it was initially written by 8 people. That's incredible. Disco Elysium, actually the best game ever made. It may actually be. So I do think that that means that our appearance, right, has now traveled no, I guess our appearance would have been in the blind spot. I'm running out of space here. Our appearance has now entered the arena. And I would say that its connection is closely related to this right here. The fact that we're struggling, because it's something that people can evidently see. And it's part of the addiction. It's part of what we look like as a cop. It's part of why someone like Annette was able to sympathize with us and like call out that, hey, you look sober, you look distinctly sober, right? Like, so learning about our own appearance, that it's now something that can live in the arena, what does that do to our view of ourself? Again, it brings it this way, but it also allows other people to see like the connection too, right? Like, rigorous self-critique isn't just an internal thing, it's an open thing, especially now that we know what we look like. So, a very interesting Johari window for Mr. Harry. It's definitely incomplete, and I feel like maybe what I will do is freeze this, okay? You know, I can take this stuff away if I need to, but what I will probably do at some point is do like this grabbing another one of these, and on that one, when we learn more about Mr. Dubois' past, we will do the double layered Johari window. So we'll save that one. It's going to be intense. But okay, I think that this is going to be our stopping point for the evening. What a way to cap it off, with finally looking at ourselves in the mirrors with our cool cowboy hat. And learning so much about ourselves as well. It's this playthrough just continues to blow my mind with how naturally it unfolds. Like, despite me taking forever to like play the game, it's like the game is happening. The character development is so apparent to me. Despite they're not like, to me, it's like a kind of implicit storytelling where we are writing the narrative that's happening, whereas explicit storytelling would be like the game saying Harry is discovering this about himself. Like it would be basically telling versus showing. So much of this game has been amazing for its implicit storytelling. The fact that looking in the mirror is something we decided to do after we experienced enough self-security to go and do it. Like, that's not the game deciding, like, you wake up and you look in the mirror and you learn about this. No, it's very implicit and reactive to us. That's what's so amazing about it to me. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, consider giving it a like and letting me know what you thought of it in the comments. You can subscribe to catch the next video here, or you can see things a little bit earlier if you support the channel either through Twitch or Patreon. Links to both of those and the community Discord are in the description. Thanks again, and I will see you next time. Bye.